Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City, where we want to help you build a Lego city regardless of the space you have. Welcome to part 6 of building a MOC from start to finish, and in this particular series I'm working on a cathedral, which is what you see in front of you over here. I've more or less completed the structure, done some of the interior details, but I haven't done any of the exterior detail as well as for the base plate, as you can see. I thought I'll take a break from the main build and work on a secondary build, which will be on a separate base plate, and that base plate will be a 16 by 32 stud base plate. I'm not sure whether to use a green base plate as you see here or back to the light gray one, and the reason is my initial thoughts was to do a mausoleum and a graveyard. But really, I'm working on any kind of smaller building that I can create from the remaining parts that you see in front of you, and I've got some bricks and pieces scattered all over the table. Basically, I used 3 different sets to build this cathedral, 2 Great Hall sets and 1 clock tower. So I do have some spare parts, as you can see, and I'm sure I can build a small building out of this parts. And this small building could be a mausoleum, it could be the quarters for the religious leader, it could be anything basically, but it will be a separate building. So I'm not going to worry about what that building will be for now, and I'm not going to worry about the base plate it sits on from now. I will build it on a 16 by 16 base plate as the footprint base plate for the building. Normally what I do is I take 1 by something long tiles and I would lay them out on a base plate and build the MOC from there. But the reason is I want to see if it's possible to integrate these stairs into the small building as well. And just the way the stairs are built, I will need some kind of proper base plate just in terms of the leveling. So that's why I'm going to build everything on this 16 by 16 base plate, which came with the original Great Hall set itself. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. We're going to attempt to create a small building out of these parts over here. So let's get started. So what I intend to do is to build a 2-story building out of these parts and extra bricks that I have, and have this kind of large spiral tower as the top. Now I need to have at least 2 stories, if not it would just seem so weird and imbalanced. So we'll see how that goes. So what I need to do is to kind of dismantle the part, because I will be using parts from the other Great Hall, and that would basically, I'll have to remove this door from the Great Hall and put this part over here, and then I'll have to bring this down. So I literally have to break this off, and this is going to come down over here, and I'll have to build a back. So that's the general idea. So let's start taking things apart. So this is what I've got so far. It is a very odd looking building, but I think you need to see it maybe with this top put on as well. So just to give you an idea. Not sure if you can see it from this angle, but it's just like a small little building with a steeple. I'm thinking a way to make it modular so that I can access the inside. That does seem hard, and the reason is because I want that spiral staircase in. And if I want that spiral staircase, I can't have any plates here, which would traditionally hold the second floor. And because these are curved and I do want to retain the curved panel pieces, it's hard to just put them on. Even if I do something like that, if I put jumper plates, I guess I could, but this entire structure is not well supported. So the other possibility is I don't even do a modular style building. In this case, maybe it's just a mausoleum, so it's just tombs inside, so there's really nothing to see inside. So because if it's living quarters, then I would need to have significant detail inside. But if not, I could just keep this closed up like a tomb and just really concentrate on the exterior detailing. So let me think about it for a minute and we'll come back to it. What I've done here is just to towel this up so that's the same level as the platform over here. So we could have a coffin or a tomb here, and this is open, so minifigs technically still can come up, but this would have to be permanently attached. Well, permanently meaning I would have to press it down. There's a gap here, so maybe I would have to use a different plate here, but not so important at this point. What I could possibly do, assuming this is up here as well and that is pressed in, I could maybe make this entire front modular. So for example, if this was modeled in a way that I could open this up and we can have a peek inside, maybe that might work. So what I want to do first, I think, is to cover up this hole. So change the plating here. Maybe I have a wedge piece that I could use to create a corner, or I could just use a square plate. I'll see if I have a wedge piece first. If I don't, then I'll just put a square plate in. Here are two corner wedge pieces that I found. So if I put them here like that, that would work and it would probably cover up the corner. This is the inclusion of the wedge pieces. So when I put this on, you don't see a gap, and I still can put some kind of probably some kind of design element like that. That might work, one on either side. So let's go with this approach, because I don't really see a way for this to have any possible modular style building without having big structural integrity issues. So what I'll do is I'll secure everything down. I won't worry about external details because this looks really plain. I feel that this has to be jazzed up a bit, but won't worry about it. Right now I can imagine windows and stuff like that. Well, I should think about it now actually, because what I think I can do is I can add in these pieces here to create some kind of a arched window. So I'll do it for both sides and secure everything down, and then I'll work on the modular aspect of this front. Now that I look at it as I've constructed this, maybe it might be possible to create a solid kind of a roof made from these two tower tops, and instead of putting bricks here, I would put two plates and a flat tile, so that these act as the jumper plates for this to be placed, and if I need, I can just pop this out like a modular building. So let me give that a shot before I work on the idea of having a modular front. So here we have the moment of truth. I've built this as a solid roof, so there's no way to really access everything because I've kind of made it all built in, but you can see it's a 360 complete roof. So now the question is if it will work to put this on. I mean, obviously I'll be able to put it on. The question is, can it function as a modular style roof in the sense that I can easily take it off when I need? I guess the first question should be, can I easily put it on when I need? Okay, I think the reason why it can't go on is not because of anything. It's really this particular side cross supports that I put in are in the way. So let me move them. Okay, so I've adjusted that. Hopefully this works now. I should be able to fairly easily pop it on, and I can indeed. And that's not super easy. Well, okay, this broke in. Worry about that later. Let's see if I can just pop this on. It's a knack. I won't say it's easy because there's just so many studs to work with. But at least from a conceptual point, I have put this on, and if I do need to remove it, I can just, pop this off. So the real issue is really this panel over here. because I can see the issue. It's just a freestanding panel. See, all of these are freestanding panels. There's really no cross support. So it does work in principle and in concept. It's just that it might not be so ideal in terms of the structure or the structural integrity. But I think it's still something that I can consider. It might be easier than trying to do this. Well, I could still explore this. So the idea behind this is this would be basically built solid here, and I could just pop this off and we can have a look inside. Well, we won't be able to see the intricacies of the stairs inside because we can't really see the light and we can't see from the top. But if I do it this way and I can pop this off, at least I can see all this detail here, which I think helps, especially if we put some sort of tomb or crib. So I think I'm gonna go with this version where I can fit this on just like that. See, that was easy enough. Now that once you get the knack, I think it's much easier. And to pop it off, I would just carefully pop it off. So I think that's the modular style I would build, just like that. See, that was easy. Okay, so what I want to do now is to think of how I can make this more interesting in terms of the look, because right now it's just too straight edge. I think I do want to try to push things out, make it visually more interesting with more texture. This here looks a bit too uniform to me. I just put it together, at least for now, but I think it's a bit too uniform. So let's work on that. Just think about ideas. And when I think about ideas, I'm looking at this as an example. So this comes from the clock tower set, and you can see how this is so much more detailed because they use these reverse sloped brick pieces, and that causes that jutting out look, and that to me really adds much more detail. So maybe this can't be rounded. I would have to do a squared look. So let's see what I can come up with. I've added some detail. I talked about adding in these reverse sloped bricks, and I think it just adds a bit more texture. And nothing much changed in terms of the structure because these plates and tiles are still there. What I do want to do is to think about this front to make it a bit more interesting, because right now when we put this on, we get this kind of look. We do have this raw brick here, but I think that actually is fine. I've got no problem having the brick bare like that. I will add external detail to the plate, so that's not the issue. The issue is really this front here. To me, it looks a bit too clean. I've got other parts like this. I'm not sure, for example, would this work better if we take that out and we do, you know, something like that? Probably not. But let's see what I can work out to create a more interesting front. I'm wondering if something like this looks a bit more interesting. It's a bit more asymmetrical. I might even change up this part over here. But there is this half kind of a tower spire, which bothers me because in a real building, you probably won't just have half a cone like that. You would have a full cone. So for example, you might put something like this in, but of course that's not very impressive. You would try to put in a full cone, put this together and try to put it in somewhere here, but obviously there's not enough space. So I'm still struggling with this portion over here, so I'm going to give myself a few more minutes to think about it. I think I'm going to just stay with this for now. I do think it's interesting. I'm not sure if it looks weird, so maybe I won't put these here. And you know what, I could put these here instead, possibly. Yeah, maybe that makes a bit more sense than the cones. I think it's just about having very interesting details. So, as an idea, this is supposed to go behind the cathedral, and it's actually going to be placed here, but on a 16 by 32 stud base plate. But you can just imagine this is the base. It's resting on a base plate that it could either be a gray base plate or it could be a green base plate, because as I mentioned, there can be a graveyard over here. I think there's enough space to get between the cathedral and the mausoleum if there's a need to. So I think that actually works in terms of the space. It's quite interesting, especially if you think of this as kind of a tourist attraction for minifigs to come to visit as part of a historical tourist town. I'll stop here for this video. I think I have achieved what I wanted, at least in terms of the initial design. What I typically like to do is to rest on it overnight or give it 2 days. I'll probably go back to the main cathedral and try to work out the exterior details, and then I can come back to this once again and see if I do want to make any changes. And of course, I'd like to hear your feedback as well, and let me know what you think of this standalone building, whether it's more likely or not it's going to be a mausoleum simply because of the space. There's not much space. In fact, the only space I really see is up the second floor, and you can have maybe one tomb for a very important person. So that there can be a backstory for that as well. So I think that fits well. But let me know what you think in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Check out these 2 videos before you go.